In this video, I want to show you the molding process to create my piston seals for the hydraulic system which I've created. The molding process is the biggest enabler when it comes to creating piston seals because it ensures that my piston seals meet or exceed the diameter of the cylinder that I'm using and hold an airtight seal. The first step of the molding process that you're going to have to complete, and you do this every time, is you create your mold. The mold is just a cut piece of PVC, whatever diameter that you need, and then you are going to attach a piece of aluminum foil to the bottom of it. That's your mold. That's the piece of the molding process where you actually put material in and the material will liquefy and fill the gaps of the mold, thus creating the shape that you need. The, the mold that I created here has a beveled edge to the PVC. So I actually thin the wall here so that I can create a PVC or the hot glue piston seal slightly larger than the diameter of the PVC. So the first step to creating the mold is to attach the aluminum foil to the actual PVC mold. All this stuff has to be lubricated so that you can remove the hot glue without it actually breaking and sticking to the substances. So once the aluminum foil is folded up and holding on to the PVC, you now want to grab a piece of elastic, maybe a rubber band. I'm using an elastic cord, which I purchased, and I'm going to wrap this around the outside of the aluminum foil, and then I'm going to pull it tight. So I just did a lasso knot here, and now I've got a flat bottom on this aluminum foil mold. I like to press it in so that there's no gap between the bottom of the PVC and the aluminum foil. Now I'm going to take a utility knife and cut off the excess aluminum foil. So now all the excess foil is cut off, and what we do here for material is we cut up our hot glue sticks. Right here I've cut up in about a 10-inch hot glue stick, and this is the remainder. This stuff is going to go directly in the mold, and this is the material that's going to fill it. Before we put the stuff in though, this is very important, is to lubricate the sides of the mold. So here I have some cooking oil, and I'm going to essentially just dip a paper towel in it, and then I'm going to rub the oil on the inside of the mold. Now you really want to coat this stuff because if you don't, then your hot glue will stick to the walls of the PVC and it'll ruin your mold unless you spend 30 minutes trying to remove the hot glue. And so once you really coated the inside of the mold, you're ready to throw your hot glue in there. Oh, I want to make sure I got a good place for my oil rag. And now just throw the hot glue in there. So once all the hot glue's in there, I'll shake it a little bit to make sure it settles. And then let's go over to our hot plate. So we're going to heat up all the hot glue and melt it with a hot plate, because if we don't use a hot plate, then the 3-inch PVC, if you're just using a hot glue gun, will not allow the hot glue to settle before it dries, meaning that the mold is not going to be entirely filled, and you're pretty much going to have no use of the mold. It's not going to help you. So heat it up with a hot plate. The aluminum foil allows heat transfer through this and you can melt all the hot glue and have it settle very nicely. So we'll leave that be for a couple minutes. I think it takes about 5 minutes for the hot glue to melt entirely. So we'll move on now to creating a foam core for our hot glue piston seal. To create our foam core for the piston seal, I'm going to cut a piece off of my insulation foam. This is just a hobbyist foam, I believe, or something like that, hobbyist insulation foam. And I'm going to do that using a utility knife, and we'll be back once I've cut the square. So after the square of this insulation has been cut, I'm pretty much just going to cut off pieces around the edges so that I can round it out, make it a circle. So now we've got a foam core, which is larger or smaller in diameter than the PVC that we're using. We'll wait for that to dry, and then we're going to plunge this into the hot glue directly. So we'll set that aside. Right now I'm going to go ahead and cut some extra hot glue because we're going to need a second piston. Here, we're going to need a second piston seal. Okay, so now our hot glue is pooling in there. It looks just like glass. We're going to take our foam core, and we're going to plunge it right into the center of the mold. We want the hot glue to form around the foam, and we're going to push the foam all the way to the bottom of the hot glue pool. So we'll do it right now. We're going to take our foam core and just drop it in and submerge it right in the center of the hot glue. Now we're just essentially waiting for the mold to dry. I personally go ahead and take this over to a pool of water, a bath of water, and this will cool off the hot glue very quickly. So once the hot glue once you believe the hot glue is dried sufficiently, just pour off the water that you poured in there, and now I'm going to remove my elastic. You can now peel off the aluminum foil. You want to do this to make sure that none of the aluminum foil stays on the hot glue. So this is looking pretty good. All we want to do now is apply pressure to the other side and push out the molded hot glue. So yeah, this looks great. We have a very smooth piston seal here. Now we go ahead and show you how this works. You just push it inside of the PVC and you can work with it like that. So there may be a problem when you're molding that the foam might lift up away from the hot glue. You fix this by just hot gluing around it, and this will fix the seal here. But yeah, that's the molding process. I hope you enjoyed the video. It's a little bit different, but not too, for the smaller diameter PVCs. But for sure, this gets you the best piston seal that I think you can make with hot glue. And I hope you enjoyed the video, and thank you very much. More information is offered on my website, thedoityourselfresource.com. As well, feel free to like our Facebook page and watch us live on twitch.tv. Links are in the description. Thank you very much, and goodbye.